Hi, friends. Welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany with Izzy from Happy for Now.
Hello.
Woo!
So excited.
Yeah, we're super excited. So we are co-hosting a trip to Costa Rica in January. And we're so excited about it. It's going to be great. So today we've got some slides with a little bit of information. We're going to answer questions. We've got some questions that have been sent to us ahead of time, and then we'll answer questions live as well. Hey, Jessica.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too.
I think it'll be fun. So this is going to be a pretty chill trip, and we'll kind of get into the details. And in terms of like of course I have slides. It's going to be a relaxing bookish getaway, a post-holiday getaway in early 2026. And we've got all the information. And if you have questions, either we know the answer or we can get you the answer.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So join us for a relaxing bookish getaway. It's going to be January 6th through 9th, which is not super long, 4 days. And the trip officially launches on Thursday.
Yep.
Which is really
soon. 2 days.
Yeah.
That's wild. 2 days.
I know. That's a lot. And the cost of it, the cost of the trip is $2,300. But there are going to be 8 early bird spots available with $100 off, which is $2,200. And we will be giving access a day early to our patrons and channel members to give them kind of first dibs on some of those spots. So heads up on that. But then it'll be going live to everyone on Thursday. And do you want to talk about we could talk about the financial piece of this?
Yeah, we can. So yeah, the early birds will get $100 off, so it'll be $2,200. That's the first 8 people, and you can finance it through a firm and stuff like that if you want. It is like $500, I think, down when you book when it launches.
Yeah, if you do the normal payment plan without financing it, you put 25% down.
Yeah.
Initially, which is like $550.
Yeah.
For the early bird price.
Bad math here.
Or $575 for the full price. But a firm, whether you'll have money down depends on your own financial situation. Like they'll process that for you. But I think the plans go from 6 months up to 18 months to pay it off.
I think so,
if that's something you're interested in. And I think it said as low as $138 a month.
Yeah, I just went to go check, and it is. It's as low as $138. So if that's an option that works for you and isn't going to put you in a financial bind, obviously.
Right. I mean, obviously, then you are paying some interest on it. So whatever makes the most sense for you.
And so the cost itself will include 6 meals. Every breakfast is included and 2 dinners. So we'll have our welcome night dinner and then our farewell dinner included, and we'll be at a all-inclusive, it's not an all-inclusive, but a resort sort of hotel. So there'll be a couple different restaurant options that I'm sure all of us will scatter to for various meals and eat together to hang out, because there's activities and things like that, of course.
And we're going to go over the itinerary.
Yeah. So
that'll be, that's included, and it'll be a 4-star hotel. So that's really nice too. Because not all of these trips are 4-star hotels. So that was
the part that we were like, yes,
we're like, let's do the 4-star hotel. That sounds good. Okay, so that's that. So let's go over the itinerary, and then we'll start talking through questions. Again, we have some ahead of time. So day 1 is mostly a travel day. So arrive in Costa Rica, flying into the LAR airport, and then the welcome dinner is at 5:30 p.m. at the resort. Pretty simple. I guess one thing to note is that you are responsible for your own transportation from the airport to the resort. I think it's 30 or 40-minute drive, if that. So it's not super far, and we'll make sure that we have good vetted options for you for the trip. So I wouldn't worry about that. We talked about that
part. Also, we'll have a Discord for the trip.
Yeah.
So people going on the trip can go there, and we can arrange like we can coordinate so people can like ride together ideally, and no one's like riding alone.
Yeah.
Hopefully at that point as well.
Absolutely. Yes. No problem.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's good.
I've already got my flight alerts.
Like everyone needs to know like what's happening. I'm a big planner too, so I'm like, I want details. So.
No, we both are too. I know. Like it's like I have to know all the details.
Right.
We had to sort out details.
Yeah. So day 2.
Day 2. This will start with breakfast at the hotel. This will be our spa day. We will be able to go get a mineral treatment and a massage, I believe it was. I'm going to pull it up
a body exfoliation,
a
massage, and like a mineral treatment. Yeah, it's very nice.
So it's very nice. We'll probably be divided up into 2 smaller groups, and so Bethany and I will like split ourselves between the 2 groups if that's the case. So you guys can fight over who you want. But yeah, so we'll have that. And then there's an on-site hot spring that you can go visit as well. So that'll be really nice after the spa treatment to just, relax and chill. And then that day we also have they call it the yoga deck. We're not doing yoga.
I mean, you can do yoga.
You can do yoga. I mean, whatever y'all want to do on the yoga deck. We have that booked for a chunk of time, about 2 hours. So we are going to like hang out there. I have some bookish games I'll be putting together for us. And we're also going to do a little book swap so everybody can bring a book and take a book. Don't bring a ton of books, but you can bring like one
good book.
Maybe 2. Or one good book that you like loved and would love other people to try.
Yeah.
So we'll have that and some games, specifically probably bookish speed dating, which I'll tell you all about closer to the trip.
It's going to be so fun. I'm excited. Like very, very chill. Day 3, again, breakfast is included at the hotel. We will have a leisurely hike. It's usually they said is about 2.5 hours. Around the area we'll be in is the Rincon de la Vieja national park, which is around this volcano. And so it's like the jungle and you're around the volcano and there's waterfalls and like photo ops by the ocean. Like it's supposed to be really beautiful and like not too difficult of a hike. Although if anybody is uncomfortable going, you can just like chill by the pool. That's also an option. And then we'll do a book club meeting, and we really dug to find something that was in English that we could read by a Costa Rican author, because we wanted to do a book club. And we found this one that looks great called Saints of the Household by Ari Tyson. I should have pulled up the description here. Let me do that one here.
I was like, we should have done that, but that's okay.
But this is a American Costa Rican author, which we thought was appropriate for book club. We wanted to read something by a Costa Rican author. So this is a haunting contemporary YA about an act of violence in a small town, told by a debut Indigenous Costa Rican American writer. So really excited for that. It won some awards, so I think it's going to be really good. And then we will have our farewell dinner, which is also one of the included meals that night. And just, again, fairly chill.
Yeah.
Chit-chatting in between, hang out at the pool, relax, read.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
then, day 4 will be our breakfast at the hotel, and then we'll say our goodbyes. We'll all head to the airport and fly home. One nice part is it seems as though most of the flights are not super duper long.
Or too expensive. From where we're flying from. Most of the ones I was looking at were $500-$600, which isn't too bad for international, and maybe a 5 or 6 hour flight. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Same.
And the time zone is not crazy, so we don't have to worry about jet lag. So
Eastern. We stay in Eastern time zone.
I don't know if it's Eastern, but it's not. I mean, we're not skipping a bunch of time zones with anything. I'm not sure. It might be Central. I'm not really sure, honestly. But it's nothing wild. So that is it. So we're going to answer some questions. So if you have questions and you're watching this, feel free to ask. And then I do have some prepared that from previously that we can talk about. Okay. So let's see. Jessica says, can't get out of Jacksonville without going through Atlanta, so the shortest flight was 7+ hours because of the layover. Yeah, layovers might make it long. If you can get a direct
that's fair. I
flight,
think
it's not that bad, but yeah.
I think for Nashville, I pretty much have to go through Detroit or somewhere, so I'll be in the similar boat.
Yeah, so depending on where you're flying from, for sure. Okay, so first one was, we have another one. Here we go. Is there an option to arrive earlier or stay later to have more time there? You are welcome to arrive. Yeah, because so there's not a way to schedule it within the trip formally, but if you want to come earlier or stay longer in the country, you are more than welcome to do that. Basically, the only stipulations are like the first event that's happening is 5:30 that evening, and then breakfast the day we leave. So if you want to make it a longer vacation, you want to go to see other parts of Costa Rica or book yourself more nights at the hotel or whatever, you are absolutely welcome.
Yeah, you totally
to do that.
can.
Yeah, definitely. But there's not like you can't do
it. Won't be through Trova. Yeah, you'll have to do it on your own.
Right.
But you could, I'm sure once you got there, talk to the hotel and have them.
Absolutely. No, I mean, great question though, because there's a lot of really cool stuff there. We're going to be in like one area, but if you want to go other places, you can do that. Okay. So what's included in the cost of the trip?
Yep.
Do you want to?
Yeah. So 6 meals. The spa, our guide for the hike. The hotel room. And all of that. So
yeah,
I think that's everything. Does that seem right? I was like, hold on, am I missing something?
I think that's right. Yeah, right. It's like the hotel and the meals, the 6 meals. Yeah. So the 6 meals, all of the events that are included. So yeah, the things you're responsible for are like your transportation to the country and to and from the airport, and then the additional meals. So, but everything else is covered, and tips to the guide if you want to tip them.
Yeah.
So would it be like checking in and out of one hotel room into another if you did that? Maybe. I don't know. Like you'd have to kind of work that out with the hotel. So, but
I feel like you'd have to ask the hotel. But
yeah, and we know what hotel it often is, but we probably won't have it finalized until closer to the trip. But we can tell you like the one of the possible ones. Disabled and like to have a day to rest after arriving somewhere on a trip tour. That absolutely makes sense. I totally get that. So yeah, if you wanted to come a day early, definitely. Price range. This is a really good question for the resort restaurants and our tips included. That is a really good question. So I think, because I know there's some places that you don't usually.
I'm Googling Costa Rica. Tipping is not as like ingrained there, it seems. So I don't know. It's optional, but appreciated.
Okay.
So that's good to know.
Yeah.
The hotel has 1, 2, 3, 4 restaurants. If it's the hotel we think it's going to be, that it's likely to be, it has 4 restaurants.
Do they have any menus or we don't?
I'm actually pulling them up right now. The food at one of the restaurants looks anywhere from $14 to $20. And obviously there's like some fancy ones you can get, like you can get fancy steaks and stuff that are more, or like a steak thing that's a selection of meats for 2 people that's like $60.
So kind of a range depending on your budget.
That seems to be a big range.
Prices. Yeah. Cool.
At the big restaurant. So yeah, there's also like a little cafe and a canopy bar, which I'm assuming has some like more appetizer stuff. Yeah,
so I think a lot of them in that area are sort of these resort type situations where they have multiple restaurants in the area, so at different price points. This is a good question. So that price is based on double occupancy, and I think they have information on if you want to request certain roommates, and we'll discuss leading up to the trip as well, like kind of let people meet each other virtually. There are some limited singles available, so again, like that could be an option, but it might cost a little bit more. And I'm not sure what the cost on that is or how many they have available. Great question. Okay. let's see, what else did I have here? These are really good questions. Okay, the spa day we talked about. We talked about how much you pay up front. If anyone has additional questions about the financial piece of it, paying for it, I guess the one thing I didn't say is if you don't finance it, it's 25% down when you sign up, and then the balance is due 90 days before the trip. And in terms of refunds, the way it works is the trip is confirmed once we have 8 people. So if we get 8 people signed up, then it's definitely happening. If we don't get 8 people, then it won't happen. But until we reach that confirmation number, I think your deposit is fully refundable. After it's confirmed, then the deposit is not refundable, but anything else is refundable until 90 days before the trip. And then it just kind of depends. So
yeah. Oh, the other question that I don't think we addressed is anyone with food needs or like different requirements. So vegan, diabetic, diet. I know we got a question about that at one point. I know kosher, we're finding out right now. The person who needs kosher, I know, is talking to the resort, and we'll hear from them.
We're trying to see if we can accommodate that.
We're trying to see. And I think we saw, vegetarian, all that. I was like trying to think of other dietary needs.
So I know they can accommodate gluten-free and vegetarian. I know that is available, but you can also like contact Trip about it specifically. We have some good ones. How and why did we pick Costa Rica as the destination?
Well, we did polls and people voted. Was part of it.
Yep.
The other thing was we looked into one of the places we had picked was somewhere else in South America that we felt like wouldn't be as safe. Potentially.
Given the current climate of things.
So that was outed. And then the length of this trip, we really wanted to do something shorter because that's hard. A lot of these trips are a week, right? And that's hard.
Yeah.
We had looked at a trip to somewhere else that was like a week, and like we were like, this would be really fun. But that's a big commitment for our first trip with everybody together.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's do a short one. And we felt like this one seemed the most chill and relaxing versus like excessive hiking or outdoorsiness.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily our jams.
And we were kind of hoping to stay somewhere in like where we weren't crossing too many time zones, where the flights weren't going to be excessively expensive. And so Costa Rica just kind of fit, like this particular Costa Rica trip just kind of fit the bill for what we were looking for. And the reviews of it are great. Like, people on past trips have had an amazing time. So that's also a big, we looked at like past reviews of all of the trips as well. So yeah. Do they offer? They do not. That is not included, but they do recommend you get trip insurance. And if you have questions about that, I think there are recommendations.
They have a recommendation on their website for Travel Insured International. That's their recommendation to go through once you book the trip.
Yeah. Good questions. Okay. So which hotel/resort will the trip stay at? So again, the exact one is not confirmed until closer to the trip, but they do tell you, basically what they say is Hotel Hacienda Guachipelin or similar. So we have looked up that hotel. It's a really pretty nice resort that is in this protected kind of national park area, and there are other hotel resorts in the area as well. So if it is that one, it's nice. It's got different pools, it's got a bunch of different restaurants and bars and different things and activities that you can book. So like if you did want to extend your stay there, I know they have other like activities you can do. So it's going to be that or something similar. So good question. Let's see. I think we talked about this. How far is the resort from the LAR airport? I looked it up at one point. It was definitely less than 40 minutes. I think it was like 30, like a 30-minute drive. So it's not super far, which is great. Are there going to be options for lunch during the hike depending on the time of it? So I don't know that lunch is included, but the hike is only supposed to be like 2.5 hours. So my guess is that we'd probably eat lunch before or after.
Yeah, it does say to bring water and snacks for the hike, basically. So before we leave the States, I'm sure a bunch of us will bring baggies of things like
protein
that.
bars and snacks and whatever. So we've got.
Yeah, so we'll make sure we have those on us for the hike.
Yeah, for sure. Are we going to vlog?
Yes. I'm sure we will be vlogging the trip.
Absolutely. But this is kind of what I've done with the other, because I've hosted by myself like a couple of trips in New York City that I've just managed. And for those, the way I've done it is sort of like people can decide if they are or are not comfortable on camera. And if you're not comfortable being on camera, that's fine. You do not have to be. So
no. There's no requirement. You may have a leg or an arm in B-roll, but generally speaking, I feel like Bethany and I are both very like, do not fear. You do not need to be in anything you do not want to be in.
No, absolutely not. Like if you're comfortable, great. We're happy to have you. But like if you're not, that's also totally fine. Transportation cost to the airport from the hotel. So I did a little bit of looking into this because
yes, exactly.
Scandalous ankles, exactly.
I try to be fair. Like if you watch any of my videos when I go to like book events, if I try to not like show a ton of people's faces who are not consenting to be in content when I can. So you know. But a little sexy ankle peek here, you know. We gotta scandalize people.
Thank you. Yeah. Can confirm.
Morgan's been with me at events.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I've done too is like people have been okay with being in videos, but I've like sent them the video to watch before I posted it. Like, hey, is this fine? Do you want me to change it?
No, I literally go, okay, I'm gonna film this. If you don't want to be in it, like say so now.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, I'm good or I'm not good. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. Either way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They all wait and let me like take my food videos at the TV like conference. They're like, she's vlogging. I'm vlogging.
That's great.
It's fine.
But yes, we'll be in them. Of course, it'll be fun. Okay, so yeah, transportation costs to the airport from the hotel. I don't know exactly. I think a lot of it depends on like what kind of transportation you take. I think they have some recommendations once we get the trip figured out. It does look like the hotels may offer it for some kind of additional cost. You can also book sort of like private taxis or shared taxis. So depending on how comfortable you are with chaos, I would probably assume, like based on what I was seeing, it's probably going to be like somewhere in the range of like $50 to $100 if you're doing a private car. But it kind of depends. So there are options. We will have more information on that, and we can also ask Trova Trip and get more details if you on that as we get closer. But yeah, I would budget a little bit for that. I think that's it.
When we have the Discord going for the trip, that's something, like I said, I feel like we can coordinate for people to be together and split that cost up to make it cheaper.
Right. Yeah. So that's the thing too, is like people can like book together so that they're traveling in around the same time. So yeah, we'll help with coordinating and like getting answers to any questions. Anything else that we haven't covered? I'm trying to think if I can think of anything, but if anybody in the comments has any other questions for us, let us know. I'm excited. I feel like with kids and everything, the holidays are always really hectic and stressful. Yeah. And so I am like really looking forward to having.
I feel like I come out of the holiday season just so exhausted that this is just going to be nice. Like the week after we're into the new year to be like, okay, peace out, somewhere else.
Yeah,
take a break. Easy time to prep content because it's end of year content. So
yeah, that's true. Good point.
I could already have my videos done for like the next 2 weeks, possibly ahead. You know,
it'll be good. Nice. It'll be great. How good is your Spanish? I mean, I know a little bit, not great. I can understand probably a little bit more than I speak, but
I understand more than I speak, but I lived in Miami for a long
yeah.
time as a
Yeah,
child.
I
So,
mean, and I was in California for a long time, so I don't know,
yeah,
like, I mean, I know some, but it's not
I think we'll be okay because we're going to be
okay.
at like kind of a resort situation where they're going to have people that speak a lot of
Yeah, like, we're
English.
not traveling a whole lot, around, so I don't think it's gonna be as much of an issue, but
Yeah.
definitely, like, if you wanna learn some before the trip, we have close to a year, so
Yeah.
Duolingo, I might do that actually to, like, brush
Hmm.
up on it. Um, Vaccines. I don't think you need any vaccines if you're traveling from the US. Didn't you look this
Hmm.
up as well?
Yeah. I didn't see anything really. Like there might be some that I'm not aware of, but I didn't like when I first Googled it. It seems like most of what we have is like fine
Mhm.
as far as
Like, if
our like
you're up to date on your regular vaccines,
yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Um,
I will say, one thing that I noticed when we were, like, signing all the fine print for Trova Trip is, if you are not up to date on a COVID vaccine, you do have to take a COVID test, um, 3 days before the trip. If
mhm.
you have had the COVID like, if you are up to date on the COVID vaccine, then you don't have to do that, but that is one requirement they have, just for everybody's protection.
Yeah.
Um
So I Googled, and what I'm seeing is basically we have no requirement, but you could do like hepatitis A, typhoid, and yellow fever. So talk with your doctor.
Okay. So, yeah. So those are an option.
Up to date, as in you know that it's not something you need a new one of, and I've been avoiding. Um,
I don't know. I don't know what their details are, so you can
yeah.
ask them. I get a booster every year, but I know some
Same.
people are more sensitive to it. And if you don't want
Mhm.
to, that's fine. Like, just take a test 3 days before within, like,
Yep.
a couple days of the trip, and it's fine.
Exactly. And then I
Um,
think visas are the only other thing we have to look into, but I don't think there's much with visas for us right
yeah, I
now.
think I saw that maybe we don't even need a visa at this point if we're traveling,
I don't think we
like, with a
do.
US passport at least.
90 days, so we're good. You can only
Yeah.
be there for 90 days
Yeah,
for
so
vacation.
you do need a passport, but you don't need a
Mhm.
visa,
Mhm.
for the length of the trip.
That's right, yeah. Vaccines made me think of it. I was like, there's one other thing we should probably share
Yeah.
that we have looked up, and I've forgotten, so I double checked myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, all good. Yeah, so that makes it easy. You just need to have a
Mhm.
passport. And again, if it's if you need to update it or get one, you have a lot of time because I know
Yep.
things are backed up at the moment. Um, so yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be fun.
I'm excited too. I think it's gonna be really fun.
I think it's gonna be great.
Um,
Very chill, hang out, chat, relax,
yes.
unwind post
Read our
holiday.
books.
Read our books, talk about books.
Yes. It's gonna be
It'll
very bookish, y'all. I hope that is very clear.
be yeah.
I can y'all can I'll read something wild so I can recap it to everybody.
But we're only making you read one book and a couple
Yes.
poems because we did find a couple
Hmm.
poems translated as well, like by a Costa Rican poet translated into English. So,
We'll probably
yeah.
read those. But yeah,
hmm
it's gonna be very, very chill.
Yeah. So we hope y'all will join us.
Hmm.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, there is a link. Did I put the link in the video description? Yes. Okay, so there is a link in the video description where you can sign up to get an email when the trip goes live. So go check that out. And if you are one of our patrons or channel members, you will have access tomorrow to sign
Hmm.
up if you would like to. And basically, for the trip to happen, we have to have at least 2 signups in the first 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And then we have to have 8 people for
8
the trip to be
people.
confirmed. So,
Yeah.
but once we hit 8, we're
We're
going.
good to
It'll
go.
be great.
What time?
What time? This is a
We've
great
not discussed
question.
this question yet.
I mean, I figured whenever we're up and feeling like putting it on
Yeah.
on the internet.
I
Probably like
guess
9-ish for me,
9.
Eastern, something like that.
Yeah, we'll schedule it to go
Yeah,
live on page. But as soon as we get off this, we will schedule it for a
we will
time that
schedule
you
it.
will find out about
Yes.
tomorrow when it hits your inbox. So apparently, probably 9 in the morning
Yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah. Something like that. So, um,
No.
yeah, so either a 25% deposit or you can do, if you're in the US, you can do financing through a firm if you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go that way, and they have payment plans ranging from 6 to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
So you can apply for that if that's easier for you. The deposit, if you snag an early bird spot, it will be $550 if you do it that
Mm-hmm.
way for 25% deposit. And if it's the full price of the trip, it's $575 deposit. And there will be 8 early bird spots available for the 2,200
Mm-hmm.
price. So
Listen, we want this to go well because we think it'll be fun, and we would love to go on another trip.
yes, we would like to do more
We just
trips.
want
Like, if this
we
goes
can plan.
well, maybe we'll try something a little more like, this is a pretty, like, chill, not too ambitious trip, but, like, if this goes well,
I'm
we may do some other
I'm
things.
pushing for Iceland. If this goes well, I think we try and do Iceland.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Um, maybe.
If this goes well, yes.
If this goes well,
Most
yes.
likely.
Like, if the trip confirms and goes well, then yeah, we may do other trips in the future. Part of it was for both of our schedules this year, January made the most sense.
Yeah.
So I think what's tricky too is it's like we're having to work around both of our schedules, and so but if we're planning further ahead, we may be able to do other times of year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm gonna push for Iceland.
I also think like a Japan trip would be cool.
Yes, I would love to do Japan. Egypt
We did talk about
would be
Egypt.
cool.
That
We
would
did
be
talk about
fun.
Egypt was in the running, y'all.
It
We
was
almost
it
did
was a
Egypt.
strong contender, and then I was like, I don't know. Maybe this
It's
is
a
not
very long
fun.
trip.
It's a long
Not
trip.
this trip.
That would be a
That's
week.
yeah.
Yeah. So we
Japan is
decided
also
to
long. But yeah, we were discussing Japan. We were discussing Egypt. I could see
Japan
us
is
doing
expensive.
yeah, Japan is expensive.
So
I could see maybe us doing like one of the Ireland trips, even something like
that would
that.
be fun. Yeah, but
Like,
those are all also more pricey. A lot of them are longer, so it's just we wanted to start with something that's like relatively affordable and like easier to get to and
yeah,
like chill as a starting point and see how it goes. And if people are like, yeah, this is great, let's do more, then we'll do more.
yeah, exactly.
So much stationery in Japan. Yeah.
Listen, I have to have Grumps with me for Japan because he needs to carry my suitcases. You just see the ginger bearded man in Japan carrying suitcases. It's my stuff. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like skipping ahead with a backpack and nothing else. It's just been behind me pushing along. Because that's the problem with Japan.
Yeah.
He'd come on that trip. I will tell you that.
That would be fun. That would be fun. I mean, I think this is going to be good. And I guess in terms of the pricing, we sort of set it where if 8 people go, our expenses will be paid for going on the trip. That's pretty much it. So like,
yeah, we are not making profits.
I mean, if the trip fills up, it will, but I kind of don't expect. I don't know.
Okay, let me put it this way: if 8 to 10 of you go, we are not making profits on this trip. We tried to price it as cheap as we could, that our flights would be covered and our food could be covered.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah.
If 20 people go,
then that's great. The max is 20. I would be shocked if 20 people.
We're not expecting 20 people,
but we would be pleasantly surprised. That would be fine.
Y'all would really surprise us if 20 people went. But just for clarity, like that's why it's 8, and that's why like we did as low as we could to accommodate that, because we did both pay for flights and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's the goal. So any final questions from anybody? Let us know. You were right. You guessed it was going to be 30 minutes. It's like right.
I thought it was about 30 minutes, I bet.
You were right. Yeah. Right around that.
I was like, I have a feeling.
Yep. You're right.
Well, once you start answering people's questions, I feel like we all have new questions.
Right. Then everyone's like, okay, maybe I do have a question. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you have, okay, cool. Well, we hope to see some of you there. We're really excited about it. And if you have any additional questions, you can always comment below or message us, and we're happy to either find the answer or direct you to
wherever we need to, to someone who can answer it if we can't.
Yes.
But yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And sign up to get the emails when it goes live. It's going to be so fun.
Yes.
So
I'm so
thanks,
excited.
everybody. Yeah.
Us too. I'm really
I think
pumped.
Jessica's going to go. Are you going, so. Jessica? That would be so exciting.
Better be. It'd be great.
Be awesome. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.